come to the bold analysis. The video of Uhuru Kenyatta breaking down when he went to console with Mama Ida has reminded me of two critical strengths that Odinga had, and these strengths prepared way when he made the sudden exit from the earth. And I'm going to explain to you these two strengths that Odinga had, his two character traits that he had. And this is well seen in the video of Uhuru Kenyatta breaking down. Odinga had the strength to stretch his hands to political opponents and competitors in this our highly volatile political arena. And it comes out that that is the secret behind why his exit from the earth has become historic, and everyone is feeling it. And I'm going to explain this in details. But before I even explain that, in my previous video, I mentioned to you that I saw some 2-3 people dropping down after they were shot. Now, I have established that one of them is this gentleman here. Just listen to this video. This is the father who went to identify the body in city mortuary. Allow me to put, this is my opinion. Odinga's body will arrive in Kisumu. Kisumu is 10 times what we saw in Kasarani. And Bondo in another story. Odinga's body is supposed to lie in Bondo, inafaa ilale kwake, in his Opoda farm, according to the Luo customs. That is ahead of the burial that will happen on Sunday. State funeral, fine, it is good. But please, go slow on the people. Please. Endeni pole pole. Nyithindwa brotho. Watoto wetu watakufa sana if you guys insist on this artillery called state funeral. Emotions are high. I was just told there's a boy who was shot akiwa kwa casket. Hapo tu Uhuru. Hapo Kasarani. I think he was overwhelmed. I don't know. Na Kisumu and Bondo, it's a different story. Tafadhalini. Nyithindwa brotho. Our siblings are gonna die. And I believe that is a message that someone should hear. This video of former President Uhuru Kenyatta struggling to hold back his tears when he visited Odinga family has finally resurfaced.
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
And it's very deep. Have a look at this. This was so deep. This was so deep. In fact, he was crying. I've seen leaders, I've seen even the president closely, but the way Uhuru Kenyatta has coalesced around Raila family is telling something. And me, I believe by the way, ukiangalia kama kuna mtu rafiki Raila alikuwa na alikuwa a very genuine friend. If there is someone who one day wanted Raila to become a president in this country, that man was the son of Mama Ngina. He really wanted. And you can feel, unajua kuna ile pole mtu anasema pole for the sake of it. You can feel his pain. I saw him coalescing around Junior, Rosemary, Winnie, Sister Ruth Odinga. But of course, Raila, Odinga family, also they had a close relationship. Remember, it is Raila's father who was the first vice president in a government they were with Uhuru Kenyatta's father. But I don't think that is the cog. The cog is Uhuru Kenyatta is looking at Raila's statesmanship. You know, you can't imagine that walikuwa wanajibizana sana in the campaign trail. But the handshake between the two was a genuine one. And you could feel that. In fact, I saw another video of Kikuyu elders mourning Odinga, and this should go out as one of the messages. This should go out to the characters around here who are trying to plant some hate messages about so and so and so and so. There is even one I don't want to. There is one I also don't like it. I think I saw some lady, my friend Brenda Kangai. We don't need, you can hate William Ruto, but you don't need to be reckless. Yes, you can have problems. Personally, on this burial, I have problems with the way security details are behaving around, because the burial is a state burial. So anyone, the way they are so strict and so firm and against the masses is where I have a problem, because they're not drawing the emotional line. But I saw Brenda Kangai saying, we gave Raila to Uhuru, and Raila brought us Uhuru, and Uhuru brought him back alive. Then we gave him to Ruto, and then Ruto brought him. Please, guys, please. I think those things are not. I rarely defend William Ruto, but on this, I don't think so. I don't think we should even go that direction. Raila is not immortal. Yeah, I could die. When I saw the body of Odinga lying in Kasarani, people turned up in their numbers to pay their last respect. There is no denial that Raila was a loved man in this country. In the terraces, because I didn't in the terraces of Viti, you'll hear whispers, people worried, holding their cheeks. What's the issue? Nasema, nani anatutetea? Baba ndio anatutetea serikali ikitumaliza. And I want to tell my president this, our president this. Ruto must understand that Raila's demise have created some panic. Hata mimi nilikuwa, kwanza mimi, the moment nilisikia Raila died and that morning, alikuwa amesign ile bill ya kufunga social media to people who we think were not. I also felt panic. Now, the president must, and this is his responsibility. He must make sure he instills confidence on the people of Kenya that the regime is not going to terrorize them. Because people feel the man who could face any government, anyone, and tell them this is wrong, the man any government will fear before it does something, you're like, hey, Raila, wacha. That man is gone. And if you listen to the mourners, especially in the Luo, there is something called chant. If you listen to the Luo chants, the Luo chant is a mourning, is a cultural mourning way. But if you listen to their chants, they are more worried about tomorrow. And you will hear things like Baba Iwewa Maraj, Baba Jogi Nyerowa, Baba Jogi Bro Sandowa, to mean hawa watu watatutesa, Baba umetuacha vibaya, Baba tumebaki na nani. The language of Baba tumebaki na nani is becoming because people feel Baba was that person who fought for them. And let me give you a good example. If Raila is buried tomorrow, on Sunday, then on Monday government pulls an Albert Ojwang. Hey, it will be tailored to that. Baba umetuacha. Baba, you're gone. We are suffering this and that. And that is why people say Raila's spirit will live. So we need to, I think the state needs to act and behave in a manner and people to feel like we are safe. Let me give you another example to show you that Raila stretching hands has worked for him even in his death. Odinga wanted to be buried within 72 hours, according to his will. And with the support base and the masses, this would have been a daunting task to deliver if the state was not behind it. And another example I want you to ask is this. Can you try to imagine if such a demise would happen when Odinga is not in handshake, BBG, that thing we don't support it though, if they are not in BBG with William Ruto? Do you think William Ruto will even attend that funeral? No. No? Do you think it would have been easy? It would have been different. And the stories of Ruto killed Raila would be here, hovering around. But you look at the time he did. One thing I like is the fact that he said, tunakaa na Ruto hadi 2027, alafu 2027 anatupatia directions. But because it's not there, everyone will take his own direction then. Because the person who is supposed to give us direction is no longer there. Observers are saying that this created some relative calm. Even in parliament, some of the people that were extremely attacking him, you could hear them really speaking some different story.
And would later reconnect about 4 years later, that was about 2012, when I was go here, come here man for the Honorable John Mbadi, without a dream of ever becoming a politician. And it's actually at that point that Right Honorable Raila Odinga identified me, and I then joined the Youth League of the Orange Democratic Movement, then under the leadership of Rashid, who we later hosted in discipline, of course, within the party structures. I would then later, Honorable Speaker, be tried to run, of course, under ODM. In his wisdom, then he told me that I was a young man and I couldn't manage to run. I then shifted to the little known, the Kenya National Congress now later, that got me elected in this House, Honorable Speaker. Of course, the other one is history. But the experience I've had with that, the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, you would actually think I've known him for the entire of my life of 40 years. Because you will sit with him, Honorable Speaker, and you hear stories about this country, things that you don't even know about your village. He'll tell you about your village, your clans, your grandfathers, everything about you. He had immense history. A man of his stature and age, you would be surprised. you will actually be mesmerized to learn that he knows so much and keeps it in his mind, remembers the names of people who struggled with him and even those who live, and even the history of, that before he even came before he was born. He was a man full of wisdom. Somebody said earlier this morning, Mr. Speaker, that we equate him to he's our current Nelson Mandela. But I also want to add, Mr. Speaker, that he carried all the attributes of the great men that this world has ever had. Not just Nelson Mandela. There is Mahatma Gandhi, Honorable Speaker. There is the late Sankara, Honorable Speaker. There is Martin Luther King. All those attributes that we admire in those great leadership, Honorable Speaker, befell or were bestowed on one man. And you would be surprised how one man is blessed. Blessed with a political acumen that is unmatched in this world.
About Odinga. And this is to show you that while he had his ups and downs, but he created an environment that at the time he left, he lives not with the scars, but he lives with the spirit of reconciliation. And I agree, I saw Babu reception in Uhuru in Kasarani. And the next person we are seeing online is Babu Owino. However, there's no reincarnation of Raila Odinga in Babu Owino. There's some unusual things moves that Raila made and got away with them and reincarnated that politicians in the caliber of Babu cannot risk. If Babu was sitting in the space where Raila was last year, about the Gen Z protest, do you think Babu would have gone for that handshake? No. We disagreed with Odinga on the framework of that handshake and its demerits and the timing. But he told us that, guys, I did it for this country. Then the second strength I wanted to talk about is Raila's ability to juggle in mingling with the mighty, the king, and Olupoloi, the law in the society. That played out. In fact, the person who got highlighted that is Tim Wanyonyi in Parliament.
A lot from him. He is a selfless man. He loves this nation, Mr. Speaker. Raila Amolo Odinga can dine with the lowest and can dine with the mighty, as you mentioned in your speech, Mr. Speaker. Raila Amolo Odinga, you can find him in Bama eating nyama choma. You can find him in Shaurimoyo sitting on a bench drinking whiskey with very common manage, and you can find him in Serena or any other place. He's a man who can attract, and he has attracted many, many people. 1997, Mr. Speaker, I know there were many Kenyans who will dismiss him, but 2002, when he pronounced Kibaki Tosha, a selfless man, he sacrificed his ambition and supported Honorable Mwai Kibaki even after he was involved in an accident and he was away from the campaign. Raila took up the mantle and championed the campaign of Mwai Kibaki, and Mwai Kibaki was elected as the president of this country. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, several times, I believe Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga won the election of 2007, and it was stolen from him. But Mr. Speaker, he sacrificed his ambition, stepped back, and worked with Honorable Mwai Kibaki. 2013, same thing, 2017, 2022. Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has put this nation before anything else. And that is the man, Mr. Speaker. I know there's nobody who can sacrifice such opportunities. Even the people he was sitting with, Mr. Speaker, many of them could not believe in what he was saying. He makes very difficult decisions and sometimes very unpopular. And when he made the decision now to work with President Ruto, everybody dismissed him and said he is greedy, he is what. But Mr. Speaker, look what he did.
Listen, that got me. You look at the footages. I saw, do you know, Raila received simu ya Nuru Okanga and Omosho Anawa. I listened to some other lady who was from Kisumu, former MCA huko Kisumu, alikuwa anaweza pigia Raila na anashika. So many people had Raila's number here that could reach out. But at the same time, he was meeting ambassadors. He was attracting, really sitting with the kings. Look at this CCTV footage. This CCTV footage has emerged, showing the last moment when Raila arrived at Devamatha Emergency Department Hospital on an ambulance as doctors, including his Kenyan medic, attempted CPR on him despite looking unresponsive. He did not, and Kenyans have been raising the caliber of that hospital. Yeah, I understand he loved contemporary, conventional music, conventional treatment. So if, people expected, so if that was to happen, then he was supposed to be in some London hospital. But he believed and he knew it doesn't matter how that hospital is. It doesn't matter. While he was in India, he was not there as a VIP. No, he was not in India as a VIP. He was actually in India, but not as a VIP. He was just mingling there. Sandomana, people are saying, mbona. But that was him, and that has been seen. Ladies and gentlemen, may Odinga's soul rest in peace. And may Odinga's spirit. If there are two things you can capture from Raila Odinga, is political tolerance. By the way, people thought he's not tolerant. This three, all manner with Kibaki 207. I listened to Charity Ngilu saying kuna time alikutana watu wakataka kumwambia tokeni, I cannot accept this to continue. When he was going for that handshake, all the members of Pentagon had refused. The handshake after 1997 general election, where he became the Secretary General of KANU. And you can also look at the handshake after 2007 and after 2022. Really, that magnanimity is unmatched. And another thing, even me, I hope one day I'll get into politics. If there is something I've learned from Baba, is the fact that you be neutral. Awe chini, huyo mtu wa bodaboda ako huko chini, akikupigia shika. Huyo mkubwa mwenye ako kwa ministry akikupigia shika. That really made Odinga a man of the people. Thank you.